kind of a goofball. I mean, Trump's just kind of a
Well,
doofus.
he's as dumb as George Bush, but he didn't have as smart of his advisors, right?
Totally. Well, and it was because he wouldn't get along with any of them, which of course was just, I mean, their measuring contest just didn't work out the way they wanted it to, whatever happened. But like, so meanwhile, George W. Bush was just like, what do you want me to say? Okay, sure. What are you doing, Dick? Yeah, fine. Do whatever you want. And so they were brutal, and we're still feeling the effects of it. And we will probably forever, really. I mean, it's like the tone that they set, and then Obama just kept the war machine on autopilot. And then Trump, of course, he said he was going to change that. He didn't. The only reason he didn't do more war was because of the pandemic. So, I mean, yeah, it's. I hope he doesn't run just because I'd rather people look at what's really going on.
Yeah, but my only pushback to both of those, is that, and obviously I don't want Donald Trump to really run either, but Jesus Christ, I think that DeSantis would have a better chance of winning. Do you think DeSantis would have a better chance of winning? I think he probably would, just because I thought that Donald Trump was going to be way better in his 2020 election campaign than he was, and he didn't really seem to. And again, it's like, just like from outsider, like sociological, like observation, he didn't seem to be as plugged into the wide swath of his base. His like comedic timing, if you want to call it that, just wasn't there. His like, because if you think about it, like, and Ron, maybe you disagree.
My timing was great. I have the best timing. I have the best jokes.
I just feel like there was, like, when he was dragging the shit out of Hillary Clinton, like, sometimes he was being really funny doing it, and he would kind of make you laugh. And as somebody who, like, I didn't like Hillary Clinton, I didn't mind listening to, like, some jokes at her expense, but I feel like that was less present during his, like, attacks on Joe Biden. And, all he was wanting to go on about was the radical socialist left. And, like, anybody with a brain knows that Joe Biden's not a radical socialist leftist. So
right?
I don't know. But Ron DeSantis, again, kind of like you said, he's much more competent, and he could do a lot of evil shit, because Donald Trump couldn't even repeal Obamacare like he wanted to, because he had such a bad beef with John McCain that John McCain was like, I will fuck you on this and then die, because I don't care. I do not want you to do this. I don't want you to have any successful clout in the Republican Party. He literally said fuck you and was the lone Republican. That would have never happened if it had been like, Ted Cruz that was President Ron DeSantis, because John McCain had been like, I like the prisoners that don't get caught, right? Like, you know what I mean? But that was, so he was so in his own way that, he wasn't able to accomplish much except for a massive tax break for the rich, right? But I think Ron DeSantis...
They always accomplish those things.
Right. Somehow Nancy Pelosi just couldn't figure out how to stop that one from getting passed. Yeah, 100%. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of in some ways the unintentional gift that he accidentally gave all of us. In 2016, it was all about stuff he wanted to do. He was better than his opponent. In 2020, it was all about, like, defeat the radical socialist agenda. And no one frickin' bought it. And there's first of all, because most people, Joe Biden, some radical socialist. I wish, right? I'm pretty sure the only Marx he's even heard of is Groucho. So I'm pretty sure, like Joe Biden. But also, I think even people who might have thought there was some truth to that, like people who don't follow politics much or whatever, because holy shit. So, I mean, in so many ways, if that administration would have handled a few things in the pandemic mildly better, Donald Trump would have won. I mean, that's why I say, I'm like, in a lot of ways, Joe Biden didn't beat Donald Trump. Donald Trump just sort of beat himself.
So true. And I mean,
his administration helped beat him, really, because, like, Mitch McConnell would have, like, pushed more through if he could have, but they were like, we'd rather lose the White House than actually help people during a pandemic.
Yeah. No, if he had adjusted his, like, strategy and tone on COVID, he definitely would have won. I mean, Andrew Cuomo proved that you don't actually have to be a good governing force. You just have to present as if you are. You just have to, go out there and do those, like, press briefings and really present this charisma to the people and make them think that they're in good hands. If Trump had even just done that, I think he would have won. But he was out there fighting with reporters during the press briefings and downplaying COVID and acting like it was a hoax and all this stuff at a time that people were actually genuinely terrified and didn't know what was going on and needed that sort of reassurance. So again, he didn't even have to really change the policy all that much. If he had just taken it more seriously and, appeared that way optically, then I think he would have won that election. So, who knows what'll happen
If they would have
obviously.
had an emergency UBI, he would have won.
Oh, he's yeah.
If they would have had an emergency UBI, it just would have been over. I mean, that's just what would have happened. But they were like, nope, we're not going to do that. All these other countries are doing it. We're not doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you
That
so
would
much.
make it look like we give a shit about you.
Right. 59. Hey friends, just got back from the Midwest, from a Tennessee or to the Midwest from a Tennessee vacation, getting my 420 on with the Ron Guard. Hell yeah, General!
Nice,
Thanks so much
Jenna.
for tuning
Hope
in.
you had a good time in Tennessee. Nashville used to be my neck of the woods. So
Oh, really?
If you were
Oh, yeah.
there, yeah, I lived there for a couple years. It's a good.
Wait,
town.
oh yeah, didn't you say you lived in Chattanooga?
No, I like Chattanooga because they have the best internet in the country.